Fascism, a powerful force in the 1930s Europe, found little success in Ireland. This was surprising to some. Ireland, with its strong Catholic traditions and history of anti-British sentiment, seemed fertile ground for the far right. Yet Irish society, deeply marked by the struggle for independence, resisted this foreign ideology. Irish nationalism, with its emphasis on self-reliance and social justice, clashed with the authoritarian core of fascism. The Catholic Church, a powerful force in Irish life, viewed fascism with suspicion. While sympathetic to some aspects of its social conservatism, the Church opposed its totalitarian tendencies. Irish republicanism, the dominant current in Irish nationalism, also rejected fascism. Having fought hard for Irish independence, Republicans were wary of any ideology that smacked of dictatorship. Despite these obstacles, two groups emerged in the 1930s, attempting to plant the flag of fascism on Irish soil. The first, the Blue Shirts, embraced the outward trappings of European fascism, the uniforms, the rallies, the cult of leadership. The second, Éire-History, took a more intellectual approach, seeking to marry fascist principles with traditional Irish values. Their stories, though ultimately unsuccessful, offer a fascinating glimpse into a turbulent period in Irish history. Their existence, however fleeting, reminds us that even the most deeply held values can be challenged. The Irish experience with fascism serves as a cautionary tale about the seductive power of extremism and the importance of vigilance in defending democratic ideals. The Army Comrades Association, better known as the Blue Shirts, burst onto the Irish political scene in the early 1930s. Formed as a veterans organisation, the ACA quickly transformed into a paramilitary group. This was a time of economic hardship and political polarisation in Ireland. The newly elected Fianna Fáil government, led by Eamon de Valera, faced fierce opposition from supporters of the former government, Cumann na nGaedheil. The Blue Shirts, led by a former Garda Commissioner Ian O'Duffy, positioned themselves as defenders of law and order. They saw themselves as a bulwark against what they perceived as the socialist and republican threats posed by Fianna Fáil. The Blue Shirts adopted the blue shirts and berets of Mussolini's black shirts, drawing clear inspiration from European fascism. Their rallies and marches, often marked by violence and intimidation, raised fears of a fascist takeover. The Blue Shirts' aggressive tactics, however, ultimately backfired. Their blatant imitation of continental fascism alienated many Irish people. The government, alarmed by the Blue Shirts' growing influence, moved swiftly to suppress them. In 1933, the Blue Shirts were banned, their brief moment in the spotlight coming to an abrupt end. The demise of the Blue Shirts did not mark the end of Ian O'Duffy's political ambitions. When the Spanish Civil War erupted in 1936, O'Duffy saw an opportunity to continue the fight against what he saw as the forces of communism. He formed the Irish Brigade, a volunteer force that fought alongside General Franco's nationalist faction in Spain. Motivated by a mixture of anti-communism, Catholic zeal, and perhaps a yearning for past glories, O'Duffy's brigade attracted a diverse group of Irishmen. However, the brigade's experience in Spain proved to be disastrous. Poorly equipped and lacking military experience, the Irish Brigade suffered heavy casualties and achieved little military success. More damagingly, the brutality of the Spanish Civil War exposed the true nature of O'Duffy's ideology. The Irish Brigade's association with Franco's fascist regime tarnished its image back home. O'Duffy returned to Ireland a disillusioned and marginalised figure. The Spanish adventure had been a costly miscalculation, further discrediting fascism in the eyes of the Irish public. While the Blue Shirts grabbed headlines with their paramilitary posturing, another group, Éire-History, emerged, offering a more intellectual brand of Irish fascism. Founded in 1942 by Gearóid Ó Cuinneagain, a former schoolteacher, Éire-History rejected the overt militarism of the Blue Shirts. They sought instead to create a corporatist state based on Catholic social teaching and traditional Irish values. Ó Cuinneagain envisioned an Ireland free from both British influence and what he saw as the corrupting influences of modern liberalism. He advocated for a strong, centralised state that would control the economy, promote Irish language and culture, and uphold Catholic morality. While Éire-History shared some similarities with European fascism, its ideology was also uniquely Irish. It drew heavily on Catholic social thought and emphasized the revival of the Irish language and traditional culture. Despite its intellectual pretensions, Éire-History failed to gain widespread support. Its vision of a rigidly hierarchical and authoritarian Ireland held little appeal for a population that had fought hard for democratic freedoms. The party's association with fascism, even in its Irish guise, proved toxic. By the early 1950s, Éire-History had faded into obscurity, another failed experiment in transplanting a foreign ideology onto Irish soil. The Blue Shirts and Éire-History, despite their different approaches, ultimately shared the same fate. They serve as a reminder that fascism, despite its fleeting appeal in certain quarters, remained a largely alien force in Irish political life.